Hello everybody, and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing Monday Night RAW, the stuff that just happened. We're going to be talking about the card before the show, stuff that happened in the show, and future storylines that could happen. So if you enjoy this video at the end, make sure to subscribe and like, because it's insane how much it helps out the channel, and we're growing every single day. So make sure to subscribe and like to become an OG. I look at every single one of y'all that follow, so make sure to subscribe. But without further ado, let's get straight into the Raw breakdown. So, tonight was awesome, but first we're going to get to the match card. This card going into tonight to Monday Night Raw was an update from NAOMI, the latest from the Vision would be in the building, Penta versus Xavier Woods, a Women's Intercontinental Championship match, Becky Lynch versus Natalya, Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez, and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker. So that's the card. That's what we were looking forward to. That's what I posted on Instagram. That's what I posted over here on YouTube. So now we kick off the show with the Visionary, the Revolutionary, Seth Rollins, and the Vision kicking things off. And after some bragging hype from Paul Heyman returning to the land of extreme in Philadelphia, he turned the mic over to the World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins, only for the Architect to be interrupted by Jey Uso's music and an enormous ovation for the former title holder. So now, we're seeing Paul Heyman once again this week hype up Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Bronson Reed. So looks like that's all Paul's going to be doing. Paul really is getting no talk time while he is with the Vision. That's why I think that it's kind of pointless for Paul to be with Seth Rollins. It's just because with Roman Reigns, he was the speaker. He was getting to speak. He was getting to introduce Roman Reigns, and that's kind of what he's doing with the Vision too. And yes, he does get to speak more for Braun Bronson, and I think that that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's like whenever he was with Roman, he got to introduce him. He got to do half his promos for him. So it's just now I feel like that, yes, Braun and Bronson want to get their promo opportunity too. So it's like that sometimes, half the time, Paul does not even get to do anything for Braun and Bronson, because now we know that Paul's been working with Braun behind the scenes, and I'm guessing he's working with Bronson too. So it makes you wonder why Paul's doing this. So I don't know. I don't know why the decision was to put Paul with Seth in the Vision as we know now, but you never know. Jey Uso comes out and cuts a promo calling Braun Breaker a little dog who he will keep on the porch. We know he has a match, which I just announced. Rollins fired up Braun Breaker, infuriating the second generation star. Heyman incited the names of the Sandman, Sabu, Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, and the Dudley Boys, and Uso accepted his challenge for an Extreme Rules match tonight. So, in this promo, pretty much the whole reason why they came out in the opener was to make sure that the fans knew that it would be an Extreme Rules match for the main event tonight. And yes, I do like how we made this open the show, and it was a big enough deal that it could open the show, but at the same time, you're having your women's world heavyweight champion announce that she's pregnant and she's going to be gone for potentially a whole year. So, I mean, it's weird that they opened the show, and it's also pretty weird that we literally had the women's world heavyweight champion announce that she was pregnant. And I have one pet peeve. If WWE would have just asked Naomi the simple question, and if Naomi would have said openly that they are trying, then man, they could have not put that title on her. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, but at the same time, I really want Naomi, but we're gonna be talking about that later, because I wanted to stay, but at the same time it's like whatever. Then we get Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez, and I mean, this match was pretty random, but obviously it's just setting up more storylines. But backstage, we saw Asuka apologize for interfering in last week's match between Io and Roxanne. So now that obviously gets to this week, Io and Raquel. But I'm kind of a little bit surprised, because now it's starting to seem like that the Kabuki Warriors are not with Asuka. If they were with Asuka, we'd be seeing Asuka take on Raquel this week. It's just not clicking up. So either way, she may have regretted the decision at one point, as Raquel Rodriguez used her size and physicality to her advantage, wearing Io Sky down. But for the Women's World Champion, she fought her way back, and she fought her way back into the match. She's a former world champ. She knows exactly how to do this. So in the end, she ends up, low-key getting destroyed. But we see Io Sky defeat Raquel. But then, at what cost? We saw Rhea make the save and standing tall with Io Sky after Perez and Raquel beat her down. So it's like, where do we go from here? The match obviously has been announced. It's Rhea and Roxanne next week. But what do you do in that match? Do you give the win to Rhea? Or do you completely just give it to Roxanne? Let Roxanne start building herself. But at the same time, you don't want to build Roxanne or Raquel on their own just because they're a tag team at the end of the day. So I think that all this is just leading up to a tag match, and it's just going to be horrible. I think that what they're doing with Roxanne and Raquel is not the right move. Roxanne should not be pinned up in a faction. She's such a good single talent that I think that she could easily be a mid-card champion by her own, like as what she's doing right now. So I think it's not needed, but if we get it, I'm okay with it. It is what it is. Next up, we see Penta take on Xavier Woods. We know this match was announced last week, and this week we finally got the match. We see Penta defeat Xavier Woods, and I don't know. We saw in this match, we did see Corey Graves have the shirt on of the New Day's Mourn, but I think that Penta winning this is good. But all these singles wins that Penta is getting, they are not going to do anything if they don't do anything with Penta. I thought that once Penta was in that Intercontinental Championship division, that we were actually going to get something good out of Penta. And every single week that he has a match, the in-ring aspect of Penta is awesome. But then as soon as we get to the storylines, it's like that WWE creative just loses all control and loses everything that they're trying to do with Penta, and they just have no idea on what they're wanting to do. So I think that at the end of the day, I think that WWE is losing what they want to do. WWE has no more ideas for Penta, and that's just what it's going to be. And they're losing ideas with Xavier Woods and the New Day. They're losing ideas for Penta. They're losing ideas for Grayson Waller. And the reason why they had to pin Grayson Waller with the New Day right now is because Austin's injured. So they cannot really release Austin Theory while he's injured because, you literally cannot. So it's absurd that Penta is getting put in positions where he's being such a good soldier, as I'm liking to say now since Carrion's brought it up. And it's just like, where do you go from here? But I'm excited to see what's next for him, but at the end of the day, it's just something that I'm not really excited to see week in and week out. Yes, it's great to see the in-ring aspect, but no, it's not cool being a Penta fan knowing that you're going to get nothing in return. But at Triple Mania, the Judgment Day defeated Mystery Iguana, Nino, and Lola Vice in a 6-man tag. But during Finn Balor introduced El Demonito and his demon-themed puppet, and it combated La Esca. So now we're seeing the battle of the puppets. But tonight we did not see anything like that. But we did see, once again, I hate this, but we're just completely burying AAA talent. If AAA talent is not on a AAA show, then they are not going to be put over. The Judgment Day won this match, and yes, it's fair because they are on their own company and they are the tag champs, but at the same time, they're losing ideas with the Judgment Day too. What else can you do? Do you put them against the New Day? That's sort of a new feud that you can dive into, but that's the first person they won it from. So where do you go? Do you give it back to Ivar and Eric? What do you do? I'll tell you what you do. You put Rey Fenix, a guy that has nothing to do on SmackDown, and a guy like Penta that has nothing to do on Raw. Put them together, and what do you make? The Lucha Bros. They win the Raw Championships, and there's no way that anybody, any WWE fan, any fan that actually knows the history of the Lucha Bros, will get tired of their reign. So that's what you need to do instead of just throwing out random tag teams like the Judgment Day. Yes, they're a good tag team. They have no competition anymore because they run through the rivalry so quick. And instead of doing quick-term story or long-term storytelling, we're doing quick-term. And that's exactly what people are saying that Triple H hates to do. But he does it each and every rivalry with the Raw Championships. So I think that they're completely losing all hope in creative for the tag titles, but it's just nothing you can do anymore. Next up, we see the Women's Intercontinental Championship be put on the line. Becky Lynch goes against Natalya, and Becky wins this match from the Disarm Her. This is insane. It's like Natalya goes on the Indies. She is natty. She is somebody that you can actually look at and be intimidated by if you're standing across the ring from her. But then we get Natalya coming against Becky Lynch. I think that this match right here should have been a reasonable thing to put Natty up to bat. Because Natty, she'll post on Instagram the next day pictures of Natty, not Natalya. So I think that we need Natty to come out and be this character. We don't need Natalya anymore. If we can channel into a different side of Maxine, oh my goodness, we can be on a different level, because everybody's going to love Natalya either way, and there's still some conditioned love for Maxine Dupree, and if she's with Natalya, there's always going to be that love. But I hate to say it, you got to let go of Akira Tozawa. He is somebody that's never going to get a match, and if he gets a match, it's going to be to put somebody else over. Either we need to put him in catering, or we need to get him off TV, one or the other, because he's not doing us any good. If I'm a company, I'm taking Akira Tozawa and I'm putting him off TV because he's not doing anything for the brand. So, it's the hard truth, and y'all know we only tell truth. So, hey, you have to say it sometimes. And then we see Naomi address the WWE Universe. We figure out that she is pregnant. So that means we're obviously going to get Jimmy and Naomi on another episode of Stephanie's Places. Not Stephanie's Places, on Stephanie's podcast, What's Your Story? So now we're going to be seeing, we know we just saw them on her podcast, like a week ago. So now we're going to be seeing them again, kind of discussing how long she's going to be gone, those types of details. So I'm excited to see what she says on there. But she pretty much explained everything here. She said that she was not going to give the title to Adam Pearce because but I saw the look in her face. I thought she was going to talk about how the fans never loved her anyway. But obviously she got emotional. She said that the bloodline will continue, and that's the good thing that the fans should be looking forward to. And she said that she's lucky that the women's division is lucky that she has to take this time off. So now, I mean, it's a whole thing now. Everybody is looking forward to whenever Naomi will come back, but I cannot lie, I was expecting somebody like Jade Cargill to come out. Imagine if Jade came out and just stared at this title and held it up. Naomi can't do anything about it, and the feud is right there. The feud is there. You just have to capitalize on it and do it. That's all you have to do. Whenever she comes back, Naomi comes after Jade. Jade holds the title for like a year until she comes back. The storyline's already built in. You just got to execute. So I think that, or eventually, we need to move Jade to Raw and get her to win that title right before Naomi comes back. I think that's safe too. But I don't want Jade to hold it for too long because it will get stale before Naomi comes back, because we all know that there's not a lot of people that Jade can face on Raw that'll be interesting. But there is new matchups, so I could see it being interesting. But it's not something that I would personally be jumping out of my seat for every single defense. And I think that they would use Jade in a bad way. But here we go. The main event. What we heard about earlier in the opener, Jey Uso takes on Braun Breaker in an Extreme Rules match. Instantly, we see Braun come out. There is a full basket, a full shopping cart of weapons. So we know that this is going to be a very extreme match, like in the title. But we kick it off in a dangerous move here. Jey sends Braun over the top rope, in which his shins directly hit that trash can on the shopping cart, so that looked pretty scary. But then we saw during the match, we see Seth Rollins come out, or first of all, we see Bronson Reed come out there. And as soon as we see Bronson come out there, we eventually see Seth Rollins attack Jey Uso. Once that happens, we see LA Knight come out, where LA would try to beat down Rollins. But then finally, CM Punk comes out. Punk tries to hit Rollins, but Rollins moves out the way. Knight goes through the Slim Jim table. Super ironic. But then eventually, we see Punk get a hold of Seth Rollins until eventually we see Roman Reigns end up coming out there right at the end, where he would spear Braun Breaker from the side and then Superman punch Bronson Reed. And that really did not add on to the case of us wanting to have Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns. We never played into that character, that storyline during Roman coming out here. I think that whenever Roman came out, I think we should have had him focus on Bronson Reed. He's the one that's been doing all this to him, but overall it's the vision. But you want to build up that rivalry. But in the end, we see the OTC challenge Bronson Reed at Paris. Bronson says from the ramp that he's going to settle this in Paris. Roman agrees, so now we have that announced, and I feel like I don't know. I think that this was always the plan, to have Bronson and Roman, but at the same time, we're just beating around the bush to have Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns. I think that's always what we've wanted, but we don't know how to get there. We don't know how to set up that marquee match. We don't know if it's the right time. We don't know if this is the right PLE to have a high marquee match like that. So it's whenever the time's right. But then whenever the time is right, you cannot fumble it. You got to be in the right spot at the right time. You got to do everything perfect to sell us this dream match. So I think that the WWE is always looking to make matches like that, but you just got to be in the right spot, and that's not what we're in right now. So I loved the show. I loved the ending here. I loved how Roman came to the save of Jey, and we kind of saw them two bonding before the show ended. But in the end, people, I hate it. There's people that say that Roman is a return merchant. But whenever Cody Rhodes leaves for 1 week like last week, but if he comes back next week, he's not a return merchant? I don't understand. The hate for Roman Reigns is insane, but it's okay because he's still the OTC one. He's still the QB one. I don't care what Cody Rhodes shirts say. He's still the QB one. But without further ado, this Raw was epic. And once again, if you want to support the channel, make sure to like and subscribe because we do these after every single show. We're very consistent over here, to be honest with you. And yes, sometimes we do skip out on Monday Night Raws, but if we skip out on any, we'll do a full review of everything, like on Wednesday right after all those shows. So we'll just do like a full podcast type. I know I just did that. If you want to go watch that, that was an awesome one. We sat there for about, 20 minutes talking about Emergence, SmackDown, Collision. I mean, we talked about everything over there, so go watch that video too. But without further ado, I hope you enjoyed it. I will see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces, deuces.